What is the message for Scorpio placements? Family, friends, and groups. Interesting. Okay. So there's a bit of a get-together going on. So you may even feel like you're connecting with certain members of your family more, or there is a certain ancestor, a passed over loved one, that's maybe trying to assist you in some shape or form when it comes to navigating certain family dynamics, friendship dynamics. It has a lot to do with your interpersonal relationships, okay? So the people that are closest to you, friends, family, partners, okay? But there may be a particular spirit guide, a passed over loved one, that's trying to help you maybe heal a relationship, that's trying to bring you guys closer together, or wants you to know something in particular, okay, that's going to be beneficial for you. But with it being in the upright, this is coming in to let you know preemptively that they do have a message for you, okay, and they're going to give you signs, okay, pertaining to this. Yes, it could be a woman for some of you, a feminine energy. So this could even be like a grandparent, a parent, an aunt, okay, a cousin, a sister, a best friend, okay, but someone who was very close to you, I feel, okay? Yeah, that's trying to help you when it comes to other relationships, other connections in your family. All right, so let's see then. Wow. What is it that this passed over loved one wants to convey to Scorpio placements? Yeah, King of Cups in reverse. Okay, so yeah, there's that disconnect. All right, so there may be someone in particular. This could be a partner, an ex-partner. This could be a relative, okay? But it does feel like someone is not doing so well, and that's what they want to bring to your attention, especially if you're not in communication with this person, okay? There could be someone in particular that is struggling emotionally, okay? They could be having emotional outbursts. They could be withdrawing, okay? They may not know who to turn to or who to speak to about whatever they're experiencing, okay? But this is someone who is not in the best place emotionally, I'll be honest with you, okay? Yeah, you have the High Priestess in reverse. Okay, so again, that tells me that you're not aware. You're not aware that this person is struggling. Okay, it is masculine energy. Doesn't necessarily have to be a man. Okay, but there may be someone who is in masculine energy that is struggling emotionally. They may not have an outlet, okay? People they feel like they can go to when it comes to dealing with their emotions or a challenging situation that is having an emotional toll on them, okay? So it's like this passed over loved one is trying to sound the alarm on behalf of this person, okay? Yeah, Three of Swords in reverse. This is someone who was shut down for a long time, but I feel like now those emotions are starting to surface. So this is someone who hasn't processed their pain yet, and that's why it's coming out in this way. That's why the Three of Swords is in reverse. This is someone who didn't even know that they were suffering, put it that way. So that makes sense. That's why they've had a hard time expressing this to anyone, because they didn't even realize that they were suffering. They thought they were fine, you know, I can just shoulder it, I'm good, you know, I've got my emotions in check. Wrong, okay, this person is suffering, okay, they're struggling. Yeah, exactly, Page of Cups in reverse. They don't feel like they've got any emotional support. That's really sad. They don't feel like there's anyone that they can go to. There's anyone that can help them, right? But this passed over loved one is trying to let them know, no, there are people that care about you, right? You've got friends and family that need you to know, like, we're here for you, but they need to know what's going on. They can't show up for you if you don't tell them. If you just withdraw and retreat and you don't let people in, they're not going to necessarily know, right? But there are people that can help. So if this is someone connected to you, or yes, it could be you, right? With that King of Cups in reverse, that's Scorpio energy. For some of you guys, it's you. If that's the case, then you need to let someone know that you trust, that you are struggling, okay? You're not meant to suffer in silence. That's why you've even got this passed over loved one that's watching over you, a feminine energy that's trying to sound the alarm, because they don't want you to go down the downward spiral. You know what I mean? So it's time to reach out. If this isn't you, and you have an inkling of who this can be, check up on them, okay? If you care about this person, it doesn't hurt to send them a message or give them a phone call. I would say a phone call would be better, okay? Because a text, anyone can mask how they're feeling, but if you hear them on the phone, you may get a better sense of what's going on, all right? So try and give them a call and see how they are. Yeah, exactly. Ace of Cups, because that's what they need. This is someone who needs compassion to know that they are loved and they are valued. Ace of Cups, okay? This person needs to be reminded of the fact that they are loved and that they're cared for and that they're held, okay? Yeah. And if this is you, that's what you need to know, okay? You've even got a passed over loved one that's trying to remind you that you are so loved, okay? That you are deserving of this love and support. But again, you've got to be open to receive it, okay? You see the hand out, you see that the cup is in the upright. That is a vessel. A vessel contains liquid. Don't tip it back up. How can I expect anyone to pour into it? What they're going to pour into, it's just going to spill all over it, right? So you need to make sure that if you are in need of emotional support, that you present your vessel, okay? You present your vessel so people can pour into you. Otherwise, they can't, okay? I know that's a very silly little analogy, but you get what I mean, right? Because it's literally this, right? If you're like this, how are people going to pour into you? They don't know what's going on with you. They don't know that you're struggling. They don't know you need help, right? And you're not open to it. You're shutting people out. So they can't pour into you. Whereas if you're open to the support and you let people know what's going on, again, hand out, open, receptive, people can pour into you. This is where communication is going to be really important, guys, okay? Like, I know it can be difficult, especially if you don't know exactly what you're feeling. But if you're struggling, you need to let people know that you trust and you know really do care about you. Because there are people who do, okay? Yeah. Knight of Cups in reverse. You don't think so, but that's the problem. You don't think so. Or if this is someone connected to you, they don't think so. They don't feel like anyone cares for them. There's no one in their corner. There's so many cards connected to this person in reverse. It's so sad. And if this is you, like, you need to know that you really are loved. I'm telling you, you are. And I know it may be hard to hear that or accept that, but you are. You know? And no one should suffer in silence. No one should ever suffer in silence. Sometimes all it takes is that little nudge, right? Like your passed over loved one coming through in this message to say, hey, my loved one needs help. Can you help them? Even if that's to you on behalf of someone else, right? Same thing. At the end of the day, guys, no one's an island, okay? We need each other, you know? And as we know, the most transformative frequency on this planet is rooted in divine love, okay? So the more that we show that to one another and show up in that energy, that's how we change things. So people do not have to feel like this anymore, okay? So we all got to do our bit. So I hope that does help. Bless you guys.